As we discussed, we, we are good with the previous concepts. So I assume this with your answers, but I didn't ask any questions related to commands since we just started and we didn't complete this. So, and as per last session, I explained how to install SSMS in your local machines. So I hope you all installed and added one data warehouse to your under your databases just to use that to work on these commands. Okay, so fine. So in last session we discussed what is DDL, DML, DCL, and DQL also, and also TCL. So we just created a table by using create, not only table, we created database schema. Now we'll see how we can use drop, alter, truncate, and how we are going to use update and delete too. Okay, so we'll see first one after one, and I'll explain what is the difference between all these things. Okay, fine. So I hope you know how to open this SQL Server Management Studio once you install. So once you install, just go to your taskbar and search for SSMS. So once you install, then you can see the icon like this and SQL Server Management Studio with extension, like what type means what version you installed. Okay, so just click it, wait for some time, it will get open. Okay, so so in last session we discussed how to create a table and how to insert two. But let me create one more table here again and we'll see how can we use alter even to alter your column length. Okay, so let's create a table name called, we can use like student info. So what student info table will generally consist? It consists student IDs and data type. You can use anything like character or integer. I explained why we can use anything. And student name. So we have to use only characters since name will not be in number format. So just assume I didn't specify any max length for the character, then what will happen? We'll see. Next, student age. So age will be in numbers. And student standard. So standards also will be, yeah, it will be kind of mixed. If you are just displaying only number, then you can use anything, number or character. But if you are displaying like first standard, second standard with a number and text, then you should use character only. So character, and here I'm allowing length up to 10, or even you can use 20. Okay, so this info is enough just to discuss our concept. So then let me execute this here to create a table under training database. So if I don't select here training, then it will not be stored in the training only. But if you're, yeah, that is the point. And by when you open the SQL Server Management Studio, by default, your master database will be connected, which is a system database, which is not created by the developer. Okay. But if you want to use or if you want to create this table under any specific database, you just need to go here and select that specific database. Okay, so I just want to create a table under training database, and if you see in the table definition, I didn't use any schema before the table name. So let me add it. See, once I execute, I cannot add directly like this. So let's see. Even you can add, but it will create a different table. Okay. So since I didn't execute, I can make any changes, whatever I need in the table definition. Once I execute, if I change anything in the table name, it will create a separate table, or if I change anything in the column names, it won't execute. It will return an error like an object is already exist. Yeah, let's play with errors or different results. So I'm just creating student info table under the training database without giving any schema name. So let's execute. So then I remember that, so this student info table should be under educational schema. Okay. So then I'll add edu dot table name and
Sorry
execute.
to disturb.
Yeah.
I have a doubt.
Yes.
Yesterday you have created the name column. Before
Mm.
name, you have kept that underscore, right? Is it mandatory?
It is not mandatory. Just to avoid confusions on what is keyword and what is developer defined word, I just given that.
Mm.
And for better practice, I can say if you are using a single word, that is fine. If you are using a multiple words like student name, then try to avoid spacing between the columns. Try to use underscore to separate a word. So this is one
Okay.
of the best
No, no,
practice to
you
follow.
have kept that before
Yeah,
the
yeah, I
column name. Yeah,
understood.
that's why.
Yeah, I understood your question, but I'm giving extra point.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. It is not a mandatory to use underscore before your naming convention, but just I use to avoid uh, disturbances, to avoid confusions. What is the developer defined word and what is the system keyword? Okay, fine. Yeah. So yes, we just created a table without specifying schema, and now I'm going to create and a specific schema. Let's execute. So command completed successfully. I didn't change anything under the table name, but still I am able to execute twice with the same name, but it is in different location. So before it was under DBO, database owner, or default database, sorry, default schema. DBO stands for database owner, so which is a default schema. Now I created under educational schema. So if I don't specify, it will fall under DBO schema. If I specify any specific schema, then it will fall under specified schema. Okay. So that we discussed in last session. So I'm just recalling it. Okay. So now I just remember I supposed to add some length for this student name for the character. So for example, I just want to add at least 20 length. So now I added it, and if I try to execute the same table, let's see what will happen. See, uh, there is already an object named student info in the database. What it is saying, this table is already created in the database, so you cannot create again. But what your assumption is, I created, but I am giving some extra length to one of my database object column, so that's why I'm trying to execute. But what system will understand? It will understand you are creating this table again and again. It won't go for the definition at first. Okay, so remember that if you want to make any changes under this object for a column, then you should use alter command. So first we'll try to insert some data, then we'll see. Then I'll explain how to use alter command to update your column length. Okay, first let me insert into where I'm going to insert under educational schema and in table student info. Okay, so what I'm going to insert? I'm going to insert values. So as I have a 4 columns, then I'll be adding 4 values for a row. So first, as in it is an ID and data type is integer, I should go with the only numbers. If I ask 1, 8, to see like this ID, it won't allow. Okay, even we'll play with that kind of errors. But first, we'll understand how alter will work, then we'll play with this errors. So student ID is 1 and name is, so you can name anything. So just use Bala, and student age is around 15 years, as it is a number and just specifying a number without quotes. And student standard, just assume 10th standard. If you give number like this, it is not a problem, but what you need to make sure is, since you are using a character data type, the number should be in quotes. So if you don't give, let's see what will happen. See, we are not covering only the particular alter. So during this alter discussion, we are covering a number of things. So since student name will allow only one character, since we didn't add any maximum length, let's go with only one letter first. Then uh, we'll add some extra letters and we'll go with an error. Then we can fix that. So first, I give an ID, name with one letter, age, and student standard is 10th standard. So let's execute this. Okay, one row affected. Mm, yeah, let's call the table to see the data. So let's start from education dot student info. So execute only specific length. See, since we are giving this number, even if it is a character, it is allowing us to execute. But if you add here like 10th, we'll see what we'll face. So let me change some other information. Like since we are going to insert one more row, let's assume this is second student ID 2 and name is C. Age will be something like 14. And I added here, since he is a 10th standard, I just added 10th. So let's execute now. So what it is returning now? Incorrect syntax near th. So where we have th, so we just executed only these 2 or 3 lines, but I'm getting an error. So to understand this error, just read it first, then you can understand clearly. Still, if you want to know the error location, double click on this error message. So then it will select the error location. Okay, so I used student standard column type as character and I given 10. So which is combination of number and text, but still I'm getting an error. Why you are getting an error? Whatever you are displaying as a character which includes text, then you should specify quotes. So now you just execute this. Okay, one row affected means you just created one row, or you are going to insert one row to the table. So now read the data. See, under the student info table, we are having student ID, name, student age, and standard, and we have a 2 rows. If you see in under the student standard column, one row has just number 10 and another row has 10 and th, 10th. Okay, so here if you see at the column level, you're having different kind of values, like one value with is only number and another value is number and text. So if you're having data like this, then 100% you choose this type as a text. Okay, so why I'm saying this, in Power BI, if you find these kind of columns, we'll be loading this data from our databases or from any other files, then we'll need to define a data type to the column in Power Query. So there you need to understand. So if I find data like this in a column, you need to understand which type you need to use. Okay, so you need to use text type or character type. Okay, you need to compare complete column values. Okay, in this column, if you find any particular row or particular cell consists text related information, then it allows only text type. It will not allow any other types. Okay, but so if you see, it's only first cell and the first row for the standard column, it is a number. So for this row or for this cell, it will allow even number type. But if it moves to next row, it is having a text. So if you're still using number, then it will return error like we cannot convert type from number to text. So these kind of error you will get. Okay, to avoid confusions, let me summarize this. Okay, as I'm using student standard type as character, so I can allow only number, or I can allow only text, or I can allow with mixed like number and text. Okay, if I allow only number, if I don't use code, it will not a problem. But if you are specifying some characters, then 100% you should use codes. Okay. But remember one thing, if you are adding some data to a character column, I'll recommend use codes even if you are using a number. So that comes under best practices. Okay. Now we'll come back to our original concept. Like, so the names I cannot display with only single character. So I supposed to go with the multiple characters to write a complete name. So to do that, let me insert one more record. So name is, let me write full name, and age is 14 and standard is 10. Fine. So let me insert this row into your student info table. Let's see what will happen. Yeah, see here, string or binary data would be truncated the table name, column name, truncated value C. So it's just allowing only C, but still I can see some extra text. So I'm not able to allow this, but still I need to write full name under student name column. So to handle this, what you need to do, you need to alter your column, or we have one more option called, we can just delete this table or drop this table and recreate it, so that we can learn later. But first we'll see how can we fix this by using alter. Okay, alter is a definition language. Okay, we'll see. Alter alter, what you are going to alter under this table, I'm going to alter name field, edu dot student info. Yeah, since we are altering the table, just write a table name or a table keyword, alter table under educational schema, and the table name is student info. So, okay. So to avoid this kind of issues, what I recommend, just copy paste. Even if you are expert with the spellings, just do copy paste. You might be expert, but maybe the architect or the developer who worked before you, maybe he'll not be much stronger. Maybe they use some different shortcuts also to define table names or field names. So to handle that, so I recommend, if you want to repeat or reuse any object names, go with the copy paste. Okay. So what I am going to alter now, I am going to alter column. What is that column? Student name. And what I'm going to make a change is character. I want to give some more length. Okay. So just execute this. Command completed successfully. Uh, okay, let's expand the tables here. So to see the tables, I said you need to refresh. So we have education.studentinfo table, expand, columns. So before we were having only one. So for example, maybe I didn't show you that the character length one will be shown while creating this table, but in last session we discussed if we don't specify any length for the column name, it will read column length will take maximum as 1. So now as we completed this alter command and after execution, we are trying to see this column length for the student name. So as we altered for to 20, so I can see here maximum number length is 20. Okay. So before altering, if you see here, it maybe it not maybe it's 100% it was one only before alter. Okay. So if you still want to check, you can check. So I'll show you how to check. Drop. I'll explain how drop will work. So unknown object. Okay. Yes. See here. Now I just removed and I'm going to create again just to show if I don't specify specific length, what will happen. We just discussed in last session, but I just want to give one more explanation to avoid confusions. So now we created, but here still I didn't specify any length. Just refresh and see. See here, I just created table education.studentinfo without specifying a length for student name column. So if I don't specify, you can see only maximum length is 1. Okay. But still, if we want to execute this record, you'll be getting an error called the truncated value C, which means it is allowing only C and it is not able to allow next characters on the student name field. Okay, so to handle this, what we done, we just altered the column length. So before altering, I just specified alter table name, alter column name, and the data type length. Okay, so let's execute this. So command completed successfully and refresh at column level. That is enough. Since I just modified column length only. See here, now we are able to see characters 20 for the student name. Okay. So I hope you are clear with this. So how alter is going to work. Now if you try to insert this record, it will allow. Okay. One row affected, which means we are able, we inserted one row. So if you want to see that data, you can see here. Yes, student ID, student name, age, and standard. So let me explain, let me give some tips to remember alter command and how we use the syntax, how we need to remember. See, what what is our issue first? So our issue is from particular table called education and student info, we have a column length. We didn't specify column length, so that's why it is allowing only one character. So now I need to give a fix. So to give a fix, what you need to do, you need to alter your column. Okay. So then you can write this alter column syntax, alter column student name, character length. This is enough. But if you try to execute this under your database, there will be a number of columns. Okay. So to specify on which table, on for which column you need to make this change. So to specify that, I just use alter table and alter column. Okay, so which means it clearly understands. So I should go to this particular table and the particular column. I need to alter this character length to 20. So like how we are giving complete information to the query to make our required change. Okay. So if you still have any questions or confusions on specifying column length and modifying it by using alter command, and also about data type and insert thing. Okay, data insertion. So if you have any questions or confusions, you can ask me.
As of now, no.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Okay, so now you know how to insert data, and you know what data type you need to use for a particular column. And if you still want to make any changes to your column, you can change by using alter command or alter syntax or alter keyword. Okay, so for example, if you want to delete this table from your model, so what how we can do is we can just go to here, education student info, give a right click, delete. So this is one way. Or if you want to delete with the sorry, if you want to delete with the query, then use drop. Why don't we use delete? I'll explain later. So yeah, our plan is to delete complete table. So to delete complete table, you no need to select all this info. Okay. So to drop, we don't need table definition. Or to delete, we don't need table definition. Just syntax drop table name. Sorry, drop table and table name is fine. Okay. So just select this particular line and execute. So we successfully deleted our table. Okay, so if you want to see that reflections, we can just refresh and see. So we don't have a table name called student info under educational schema. So we don't have table under educational schema, but still you can see under DBO schema. Yeah. So why we still have here is, if you remember, starting off our session, we just created a student info table without specifying a schema name. So that's why it added under student, sorry, it added under default schema called DBO. Okay. So if you still want to delete this too, then you can write a syntax same way to delete the table. So drop, what you are going to drop? Table. And what is the table name? Student info. Student, what is exact spelling? IFO. Okay. So just do this. Or as it is stored in default schema, if you want to mention the default schema name, you can mention on even, or even if you don't mention also, it will work. Okay, command completed successfully. So now refresh this. So we don't have student info on under default schema or even under educational schema. Okay, so we delete it completely. Okay, now if you want to create it again, as we have table definition ready, we can create. Just use create table, and since I know the issue, if I don't specify character length, so let me specify here. So then we don't require alter command here. So if we don't require any changes at the column definitions under table definition, then we don't require alter command. Okay, I just executed table and let me insert one date, or let me insert few more records to discuss how update will work. I'm just giving some data. So if I want to add one more record with a single execution, I can just use command Oh, just open and close brackets and enter the columns, sorry, enter the values, whatever you want. Yeah, okay. So now I'm going to insert two rows at a time. So select the range what you want to execute. So two rows affected. If you want to see that how much data under this educational schema and under the student table. So execute this. So I have three rows now. Okay. So I know in this case, I just noticed that Akash is in ninth standard, but somehow it added like eighth standard. Okay, so I want to make a correction here, or I want to update Akash standard as a ninth. It is not eighth. Okay, so in this case, how can you do this? So you can do it by using update command. Okay, let me explain you how to use this. Update, where you are making updates, I'm updating my changes on a table called student info under educational schema. Okay, I'm making updates on this table. Okay, so what update you want to do here? So I want to make Akash standard to ninth. So then you set standard equal to ninth. So see here, you are giving a location where you want to update or on under which table. So here that part is done, and what update you want. So that update here you given. Okay, understood. Standard I supposed to update ninth. Okay, so for whom you want to update, see here, if you read this, you cannot understand. So you can understand you need an update under this table, and for the column standard equal to 9, but where you want to update. Okay, so to understand where you want to update, so that we need to write where student name equal to, you can write the student name here, Akash. Okay, see, even in general, if you don't have complete information you cannot take an action, but same way, if you execute only these two lines, I want an update from so and so table, and for the column like ninth, if you try to execute this, it affect for all the three rows. Let's see. So see, I don't have complete information, but I have taken an action. So let's see what kind of impact happened. See, for all rows or for all the for all the candidates, it updated as a ninth. So to avoid these things, you need to specify where this update should happen. Okay. So so to take this transaction back, we have a concept called like commit rollback save point that we'll discuss later. But since we didn't start that topic, we'll just drop this table and recreate. Create. So let me execute completely to create a table and to insert the values. Okay. So to see the data, just use select query, select star from table name. Okay. So now I want to make a change for Akash. His actual standard is ninth, but it is displaying 8th. So to make an update, to make a change, what we need to do, we'll be using update command. And in the update command, we are just displaying where we are going to update. So we are going to update under student info table. And what update you are going to do, I'm going to update like a specific value for under the specific column. So then where you are going to update also is a matter. So I want to update for a Akash record. Okay. So then execute this. One row only affected since you are updating only for a particular row, only for a particular person. Okay. So this is how you need to update. See here. Now we can see the changes. Akash standard number is ninth standard. Okay. See, even I can explain you directly like this. So if you want to update for a particular row, so then you can define a value what to update and wait to update. Okay. This is also enough to give an information on update command, but I given an additional like if you don't use where condition, what will happen? Okay. So even if in real times, if you update like this, then your entire data will get manipulated. So then it will be a huge problem. So to avoid those things, we need to specify where condition. So that's why I explained part by part. So with an issue I explained and with the solution I explained. Okay. So in this process, if you get confused, please let me know. I'll give more clarity. Okay.
Here we are using commands, right? That set and where commands. So after the condition ends, we need to end it with the commas like that. St stands equal to ninth comma, or we can use or we cannot use.
Comma, see here, for the set and where we don't require to use commas. Okay.
Okay, okay.
If you are specifying a comma means your logic is not completed, you are going to add one more condition. Okay. But here, this condition is enough for me to set a value as 9. So if you want to add one more column, like if you want to make a changes under one more column, then you can add column and you can make a change under any other column. Okay. So that you can do as a practice. Okay.
So we can use only when the column is adding commas, right? If we need to add another one, anything like student age like that, we can add that.
Yeah, you can add that. Like now I'm
Okay.
going to change only for student standard. Even if we want to make a change under age, then you can add it. Okay. If it is not required, then it is not.
No, I'm asking if suppose a student standard I am adding,
Hmm.
I can put comma there and we can add same time setting student age as well in the same line. I'm asking.
Student age. Oh, okay. Like, sorry, can you repeat your question?
Yeah,
He is
here
asking
set.
that at the same time we can edit two columns like that. He's asking, am I correct?
Yeah, you are correct. Yeah,
Okay.
At
I'm
the
asking
same,
same.
Okay, fine. Then you can add. You can add the second column where you want to make a change like this. So if you want to add a change like under student age, then add a comma and give the value what you want to add, like 14 or 15, you can give. Okay, so you
Yeah,
just
because I asked this question, we can change number of columns at the same sentence, right? That's why I'm asking. Yeah.
okay, yeah, you can make a changes on multiple columns, but make sure that you're locating where you are going to make a changes. If you don't specify this, then this change will be added for all the rows.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Any other questions? Okay. If there is no question, we'll see. So now you know how you need to use alter, update, and drop also. So drop will use to delete the complete table. So when you use drop, it is going to delete complete table structure. Okay. So remember this. And we'll see how delete will work here. Okay, so right now in our student info table, we'll see what information we have. We have only these two rows. So let me add few more rows, or let's go with the two rows only. So let's see. Sorry. So now we'll see how delete work. Delete, what you are going to delete? So the student info table. So here we are not going to delete table. See, so when we use delete and object name like table name, it just deletes only data. It is not going to delete table. Okay, let's execute this and see what happened. Two rows affected. Why only two rows affected? Under this table, we were having only two rows. If you execute this table, I can see I can see columns only under the table. I don't have any data since this delete command deletes records, but still we have a table exist and we don't have a data here. Okay, so but what will happen
Uh,
when you
uh, this means only structure will delete, but data, sorry, structure will be there and data will be deleted, right?
yes,
Okay.
when we use delete command, your data will get delete, but your table structure will be remain same.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
but when we use draw, it is going to delete your complete table definition. Okay,
Okay.
let me
Okay.
show you here.
Mm.
Drop table and table name. So if I do this, command completed successfully. If you want to run this table, you'll get an error. You'll see. See, invalid object name education.studentinfo. Since we don't have this object available now. Why? We just drop table name. But before, when we use delete, the table is exist, but the data got deleted. So understand this difference, how delete works and how drop works. And if you see here, when I use delete, I didn't specify like delete table and table name. But when I use drop, I specified drop table and table name. See the syntax difference. See, in our SQL commands, when you are working on DDL, you see, when you are working on DDL, what commands we have? Create, drop, alter, truncate. But when you see here, insert, update, delete. Okay. See, delete is under DML, and this DDL is, sorry, drop and truncate. So let's talk about drop only. Drop is under DDL. Let me repeat. Delete is under DML. Drop is under DDL. If you see here, this delete is belongs to DML command and this drop is belongs to DDL command. So when use DDL command, I need to specify object type here. So object type is table name. But when you are using DML, you no need to specify object type here. So remember this. Okay. Or if you are not able to remember, just try execute without specifying object type. Then with error, it will ask you like unknown object type education used create, drop, or alter statement. So whatever statement you are using, it is not able to find the object type. So with this error, you can understand. So it is expecting object type next to the drop. So what is the object type? Table. So we have a different objects called table, views, and procedures and all. So this all comes under objects. Okay. So now it is not able to understand what type of object you want to delete. Okay. So I want to delete table object and the table name. Okay. If you execute this, it will work, but it is not exist in our model. So that's why it cannot delete now. Okay. Cannot drop the table because it does not exist or you don't have permissions. So I know it does not exist in your model, but in your real time, if you get this error, you need to check with the colleagues like still like are you experiencing the same issue, like to take a clarity on whether you have a permissions or not. Okay. So there will be two possible cases here. One is the table may not exist in your database, or maybe you don't have a permissions. Okay, here we have a two possibilities, but to make sure what exactly, then you need to check with your colleagues. Okay, if they are experiencing the same issue, maybe you can consult your next level employees who will be having all privileges. Okay, so like how you need to take an actions to get more clarifications. Okay, fine. So so now when I use delete and table name, it deleted entire data. For example, if I want to delete only specific row, how can I delete? Let's see that. So since we deleted this table and we have this table definition ready, I just want to use the same query to create the table. Okay. So I just want to insert one more record. And age will be just assume 16 and standard 10. Okay, so let's insert or let's create this table again. So now 3 rows affected and the table got created freshly. If you want to see that info, just use select query and execute this. So now I have this table with some records. So now I just want to delete only record called Akash. So I don't want this record in my database management system, and I don't want this for my reporting. So I don't want this. Then you can delete this. So if you don't want, there is another option called filtering data. But if you filter, there is a possibility to use for maybe any other reports. But you don't want this data to be exist in your model, then you can use this delete command to delete a specific row. I'll show you how to delete. Delete what you're going to delete, where you are going to delete. I'm going to delete under educational schema and the table called student info. So if you execute this complete, then your entire table will get deleted. So not entire table. So yeah,
Entire rows
data
will
will
be
be, yeah, entire data will be get deleted. Okay, but still here I just want to delete only particular row. So then how you need to define the query? So delete object name and where, just write a where condition where you are going to delete. Where you can mention like if you want to consider student ID one should this record should not be there, then you can choose this. But if you use student name as Akash, I don't want Akash record, then you can choose this. See, what you are comparing is most important. Like maybe there will be high possibility to have same Akash for multiple candidates. If so, in this case, if you want to delete all Akashes, then fine to go with student name is equal to Akash, then delete all Akashes. Or if there is a case like student ID where who is having one, I want to delete whether it is Akash or anything, then you can mention student ID. So let me clarify you. So you understand that this first row should get deleted. Okay. And make sure that what you need to specify under where condition, like if there is a unique column like student ID, then it is fine. You can mention student one. I don't want in my model, so I'm going to delete. Or understand the same student ID. In general, it will not repeat. If it is there for any other names, then make sure that you are going to add next column too. Okay. So to avoid confusions, let me start with 1. Okay. So I have a student ID 1. So wherever I have student ID 1, I don't want that data to be there. So in this case, I can just use where condition student ID is equal to 1. So let's execute this, but still I can see some warnings under ops names like invalid column name, student ID, and invalid object name, education.studentinfo. Why I'm getting this? So if you see here, when we use draw, we deleted this table definition table, and but we recreated, but system still didn't update. So that's why I'm getting this errors, error warnings, not errors. Execute this. One row affected by with a where condition, I'm just limiting a specific record to be removed. Execute this to see. See, now I don't have student ID is 1 in our table records. Okay. So like how we can use delete to delete entire data, or if you want to delete a particular row, you can use delete with where condition. Okay. See, so there is so much to practice, so much to learn. So no trainer can complete all variants in this commands and with all query parts. Okay. If you practice more with the different variations and with the different approaches, then you'll face a lot of challenges, or you can learn more. But if you go with this, whatever we discussed in the training part, then you can learn that part only. If you want to explore more, then you need to spend more time on practice. Okay. So we just covered create, drop, alter, and insert, update, delete. So with the different variants. Now we'll see how truncate will work. So now we have a let's call that table to see what type of data we have. So let's start from education.studentinfo. Execute this. We have a two records. We have two records, and let's see what will happen with truncate. Actually, truncate will help to delete the data. We'll see. Truncate, and if you see here, truncate is under DDL command. So then you should specify object type, truncate, table name. So if you do this, the table data will get deleted. Command completed successfully, and it is not specifying number of rows impacted. So remember this. Just call this table to see data. We don't have data since we truncated the table. So what will happen when we use truncate? It deletes your object data, your table data. But under the truncate, if you want to delete a specific column, it won't help. It won't work. Let's give it a try.
So
See,
truncate and delete the same keywords we are using to delete the rows and data, right?
yes, truncate and delete will do the same, but there is a difference. I'll explain.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so as we have table structure same, so I just execute only data part, like the data insertion part. 3 rows affected, and we'll see. Execute. So now you have a table and a table with data. Okay. So now in delete, we used where condition to delete a specific record. So will that be possible in the truncate? No. So let's give a try and we'll see what error we'll get. See, at the where condition, it is started showing warning. Incorrect syntax near where. execute. Let's see what will happen. See, incorrect syntax near keyboard where. So if you get like this, then you need to revisit and check your query and check here. So what Truncate actually will do is it deletes complete data under your object. It will not delete a particular row or row by row process. Okay. So remember this. Truncate is help to delete your entire object data. But when we use delete, it will also help to delete entire data under your object, but delete command will help to delete data row by row, transaction by transaction. Okay, even if you want to delete a particular row, you can delete with the delete command, but you cannot use truncate to delete a specific record. Okay, and when we use this, the common thing here is when we use delete or truncate, or table structure will be remain, but we are going to delete only data. Okay, so generally delete, even if you don't use where condition, or delete command will delete data row by row only. Even if you are going to delete your entire table which is having 100 rows, it will delete row by row. Okay, but if you want to delete a specific record, you can mention where condition, and that particular case it will delete a particular row. If you want to delete entire table data, if you use delete, it will start deleting row by row only. The background process will do like this. Okay, so I hope you have a little bit understanding on difference between delete truncate. Okay, and we'll see drop. So when we use drop, it is deleting data and table definition also. So remember these things, and I'll give one more question to you. So we discussed DDL and DML, and as per the DDL definition, data defining language. So whatever you're defining under table definition or any object definition, that comes under DDL. Whatever you are manipulating, whatever you are making an updates on data, so those comes under DML. So then why truncate is in DDL? So this is a standard interview question. So here we'll be getting two standard interview questions. One is, can you differentiate drop, delete, truncate? And one more interview question, what truncate will do? So if it is deleting data and even you still see table structure remain, then how can it will be DDL command? See, first to get more clarity or to understand this differentiations, you should understand what DDL will do and what DML will do. See, out of all this explanation, what you observe with DDL is it is just defining your objects. With the create, we are not making anything with the uh, data. We are just creating an objects, creating database, creating schema, or creating a table. Even going forward, we'll be creating views, procedures also. But what create will do is it is defining a particular object. And drop, what drop is doing, it removing the object, like it is deleting completely. So then you can see, you can understand here is there is some creation or deletion happening at the table definition level. Even if you see at alter, what alter is going to do, it is changing something under for the columns. Okay, which means it is making changes on the table definition. Okay, so that's why all this comes under DDL. But what DML will do is it just making changes on data, not on table definition or not on tables. Okay, it making changes on data only. Whether maybe we'll be adding new data with insert, or maybe you are making changes in existing data by using update, or deleting few records or all records from your table. Okay, whatever you are making changes on data, so those comes under DML. And whatever you're making changes on table definitions or creating table definitions, so those comes under DDL. Then why? So now you understand what DDL and what DML. But what Truncate actually is doing, it is helping to delete data from a table. But it is deleting entire data at a time, not like row by row, how delete will work. Okay. But still, Truncate, when we use Truncate, it is getting data deleted, but it is not it is not making any changes in the table definition. Then why still it is under DDL? So this is standard interview question. To answer this, I'll explain you how Truncate will work. See, when we use Truncate, it deletes entire data from your table and it recreates your metadata. Metadata means if you consider table metadata, it's like whatever the columns you used and whatever the types and length of the characters. So it comes under metadata. So when we use this truncate, it will delete complete data and recreate the same metadata. So the recreation process includes it is disturbing or it is just recreating our table definitions or data definitions. Okay. So that's why we used to call truncate is a DDL. It is not making any changes, but it is recreating same metadata. Okay. So I hope you have a good understanding why truncate is DDL. Truncate actually deletes entire data from our objects, but along with the deletion, it recreates our metadata for table. Okay, so that's why we call this DDL command. Okay, if you have any confusions or questions, you can ask me why truncate is under DDL.
Yeah, we understand that, but you're telling that metadata where it's recreate again, that it's in the same
Same
table
in the
or
same table, wherever it is there, and at the particular location or at the same location under the same table, everything will be same. It just recreate.
then what is the use to use the truncate? Because already it's deleting and already it's recreating the metadata. Then what is the importance of the truncate when we using that?
Yeah, good question. See, just assume that you're having crores of data in your table. If you use delete, as delete works row by row transformations, then it takes a lot of time to delete your complete information from your table. But as truncate works at a time deletion, it is not execute by row. It delete entire data at a time. So when we use truncate, it helps to improvise your performance. It will give a faster results. So that's why we use truncate. Okay, so truncate importance is when you are going to insert new data or when you want to add override your data with latest changes. For example, just assume a real case. You're storing monthly data in your database, and with yesterday's sales, you got some latest records. So entire data you want to replace it again. So what you'll do is with the store procedures, we'll use this truncates. What it will happen, it deletes entire data and just replace it with the latest and historical information. So if you do this delete, it takes a lot of time to delete historical data, or if you want to do any other things like, eh, yeah, historical data is a standard one. When we use delete, as it processes row by row, it takes a lot of time. But when we use truncate, it is faster since it deletes entire data at a time. But don't think about the technical term at the moment, since you'll get a lot of confusions. Okay, just understand right now truncate will be faster to clear the data, to delete the data compared to delete. So that's why we use truncate here, even though we have a delete. Just remember this for now. Do you have any other questions?
No, from my side. Thank you.
Yeah, fine.
I have. Can you
Yes.
come one slide back? One slide back. I mean, SQL data. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming to Object Explorer, for all this one we called objects, right?
Yes.
What about the query here, where we are writing the query? That what we called
We can say query pane.
query field. What
Yeah.
about
Or
that
query
log
editor.
pot
Which
query
one?
editor? Okay, log. We are checking
Yeah,
the
the
log, right?
results. Yeah, the query results where you can see. Results pan
Okay.
also you can see.
Okay.
If you want to read data or if you want to execute some query and see their results, then you can
What?
see here.
Yeah, yeah. My doubt is what we called this.
What we got means.
Here we are calling that this one is Object Explorer, and here
Okay.
we said that
It's a query pane
query.
and it is results pane. You can
Okay,
see that.
thank you.
Fine. So, do you still have any other questions or even from others? Okay, if no questions, let's stop recording.